Joanne and Vic, even though the mayor just heated things up with the veto, as you mentioned, both he and most council members are now on their way to Mackinac, and both sides are voluntarily talking about compromise. However, judging by what the mayor said during his webcast announcing the veto, the road to compromise will be rocky. As you will hear in a moment, there's bitter disagreement about deep cuts and whether police officers will have to be sacrificed. The mayor and the council president both deny they're playing politics. But if this were a game of chess, the mayor's veto puts council in check.
We're not surprised. We anticipated a veto, and we are anticipating perhaps working something out in Mackinac. I could be swayed on the issue of transportation on our buses. I think that our cuts, we can revisit that.
I'm ready to compromise and have some discussion, but if we don't really look at the structural changes that need to take place, and that is a change in health care and a change in pension reform, all the other cuts does nothing but impact the people here in the city of Detroit. Our services will be cut.
This issue, though, of laying off 200 police officers is some bull. Seriously. Because we don't have to lay off one police officer in order to absorb these cuts. So I wish the mayor would stop telling people that, because that's a lie.
That's what they say. I don't agree with that, and I think our chief, Ralph Godby, knows much more about the police department than anybody on the council. So that's not going to happen. We will have to lay some police officers off. We're talking about potentially 500 to 800 layoffs.
In the police department alone, Mayor?
No, in total.
And now that the mayor, though, has vetoed council budget, council thinks that it has the checkmate move, enough votes to override the mayor's veto. And normally that would be the end of things. Council's budget would go into effect. However, this year there is something entirely different in play. The possibility of an emergency financial manager that would change the whole game. Reporting live downtown, I'm Val Clark. And Joanne, Mackinac is going to be very interesting. I think there's no question about that.
Well, let's hope they can reach a compromise, Val, because I remember you standing outside that building months ago when Mayor Bing introduced his budget, and we were all hopeful there would be a better spirit of compromise because of this threat of an emergency financial manager.
Yeah, and there's a lot of back and forth, and that's the X factor. We don't know what happened. Some council people say that's not a real threat because the EFM can really only come in if there is no balanced budget. So, boy, it's interesting.
Oh, it's always interesting, isn't it? We'll be watching things very closely in Mackinac this week. Val, thank you very much.